Welcome back to Final Fantasy XIV, where we are here in the Doman Enclave, where we last time, well, facilitated the return of the Domans in Revenant's Toll back here home, and to help rebuild their homeland. But this quest is obviously not finished, so... Kozakura, what else is going on? Desiree, Kami be praised. I was hoping you might pay us a visit. It is as ever an honor. Come, stand up. No need for that. Once again, I must thank you for helping our brothers and sisters secure passage back home. With so many skilled craftsmen soon to be at our disposal, we of XIV Kai are ready to proceed to the next stage of our plan to rebuild the Enclave. Which brings me to a rather delicate matter. Perhaps you will find this shameless, but the circumstances being that they are, I see no other way. The reconstruction, the revitalization of the Enclave cannot hope to succeed without the contribution of wealthy individuals such as yourself. I understand if you wish to refuse outright, but I beg of you, please listen to our proposal in full before you decide. No bother, really. Let's hear it. Thank you, Desiree. I shall endeavor to be brief. Where to begin? Of course. It's important that you understand the state of the Enclave at present. I'm sure you will recall how everything was when you first arrived. Rubble in the streets, buildings in ruin and so forth. While we have made some superficial progress since the castle fell and Doman was liberated, the scars of the occupation are far from healed. Since antiquity, the kingdom of Doman has prospered from the gifts of a one river. The success of our agriculture and industry is intricately tied to our position here. Alas, in our struggle against the Guardians over the decades, much of what was built over centuries was lost. Fertile farmlands that once yielded produce for export were despoiled, and what little remained could barely feed our people. Our foreign rulers did not hesitate to impose their will on local industry as well. Not only were we forced to purchase goods from imperial concerns, regardless of quality or cost, but our merchants were also forced to sell their wares to Guardians at a loss, assuming they received compensation at all. While those dark days are behind us, many of our former trading partners are reluctant to engage in trade agreements for fear of the Empire's wrath. And so, for the most part, we must continue to fend for ourselves and craft what tools and so forth we require. Or so we would. Had we the facilities. Forgive me, it's not so dire as it may sound. Our problems may be many, but we are all wholly committed to the challenge before us. We are not unlike the Shazan, a hardy herb that can thrive in even the most inhospitable of conditions. I took inspiration from its strength and stubbornness when deciding upon a name for our organization, in fact. No matter the struggle, no matter the cost, the XIV Kai will do everything in its power to overcome every hurdle and rebuild this home of ours. Great. Please excuse my sudden fit of passion. It was most unbecoming. Anyway, I have spoken of a general state of the Enclave. Let us discuss more specific concerns. Though, having said that, it would be simpler if you were to see things with your own eyes. Please, head to the work site north of the Aetheryte and speak with Mitsuba. I shall join you shortly. Well, well, you're Desiree Klingo, aren't you? In need of a hot meal? Actually, she is here at my behest. I thought it would be best if a potential patron saw our efforts firsthand. If you'd be so kind as to explain to her what we do. Aha, foisting the burden onto me, are we? Very well, if you insist. Allow me to properly introduce myself. I'm Mitsuba. Once upon a time, I owned and operated the largest tavern in the Enclave. I had a hand in everything, from balancing the ledgers to stirring the cookpots. Owing to my experience, I've been asked to oversee the work here in the 10,000 stalls. Still missing a few, huh? That's the exact same look I gave Kozakura when she showed me this place. 10,000 stalls by the Kami, there's not even 10. But mark me, there will be. When we're through, this place will have an offer every imaginable cuisine. Just thinking about it is enough to set my heart racing and my mouth watering. As I explained earlier, however, trade, or lack thereof, is a major problem at present. We simply aren't getting enough shipments of consumables from outside Yansha, and our people are forced to eat the same simple fare day after day. However, once our negotiations with foreign concerns bear fruit, we should be able to exchange whatever surplus we produce for a wider variety of ingredients, bringing us closer to realizing Mitsuba's vision. This may seem like a silly goal to strive for, but by improving the quality of life for our people in a clear, understandable manner, we can motivate them to work harder and tackle more difficult tasks. Doma will not be rebuilt in a fortnight, and we need every victory, however small. We have a bloody long road ahead of us, but we'll only take it one step at a time. Whatever help you can contribute to the cause would be welcome. Thank you for taking the time to speak with us, Mitsuba. We should head back to the Shazenkai and continue our conversation there, so as not to get in the way of your work. There's not much left to explain, but if you would indulge me a little longer, I would be grateful. The 10,000 stalls are but one example of what we hope to build here in the Enclave. Alas, it will take much time and effort. And it will also take tremendous resources. Resources that I pray you will be willing to contribute. Raw materials, foodstuffs, linen, medicines, all this and more would be of use. Anything and everything you can afford to part with would be welcome. Furthermore, as a token of our appreciation, we will provide a small gratuity relative to the value of the items you relish. You need only place these items in the donation basket to the left. I will calculate the gratuity and pay you immediately. The Doman Enclave Reconstruction commenced. You may now use the donation basket to contribute unneeded items to the Shazenkai. These items will be used as supply and finance the reconstruction of the Doman Enclave. Now basically you go to the basket here. They tell you how much weekly budget this has, which is a weekly quest, and at certain thresholds of what you pay, and you basically turn in items at 100 now. Well, at currently 120% of the price you would get from an ordinary vendor, and at certain thresholds for items donated or of item value donated, you get a quest progression. And never more than 10 items at once. So, thank you so much for your contribution. And there something happens. On behalf of the Shazenkai Desiree, I thank you for your support. The proceeds from your contributions have already been used to great effect, but I would not have if you take me at my word alone. I pray you pay a visit to Mitsuba at the 10,000 stalls. She should be glad to tell you of the progress they have made. Good to see you again, Desiree. Kozakura tells me you've been quite generous of late. On behalf of all of us, I thank you. As you can see, we've got the frames up now, just the bones of what's to come, but perhaps it's easier than before to imagine how that stall over there will one day be a proper kitchen. Unfortunately, we have yet to address the poor supply issue. While it's true we have no shortage of rice and a few varieties of vegetables, some river fish as well, there's little else of note. The land here has always been well suited for rice cultivation. You can't blame a farmer for taking advantage of it, but a man can't live off rice and nothing else. Hunting was more viable in the past, but these days you can't go more than a halfway down the road to the next village without tripping over a shikigami or worse. Not much game to be found at any rate, unless you're keen on trying cooking kosher, and I'm not. Which leaves fish and whatever livestock we can raise on our own, which is not nearly enough to meet our needs. Brother, can you stand? Speak to me! I have no strength to rise, brother. The void within my belly is all-consuming. Leave me. Only a firewalker matters. The Buduga. The Buduga must thrive. Mine own vision goes dim, brother. So distracted was I by the Lupin's lengthy lectures, but I paid no heed to my growing hunger. I fear we are undone. Too far from the steppe have we come to return for rations, and I've yet to see a single sheep in this stronghold. I say, you lot look as though you're in dire need of a meal. We've got rice balls to spare if you like. You would share with us your food. We would be eternally grateful. Delicious, delicious. I have emerged from dark into light, and my full belly now basks in the sun. In shape and color, it reminds me of booze, though it lacks any sort of filling. Booze, a sailor delicacy, I presume? Steamed dumpling or some such? They're a fair bit different, aye, but you can use all sorts of things as filling for rice balls. Miso-flavored meat is one of my personal favorites, in fact. Unfortunately, we're having trouble securing a steady supply of meat at the moment. Unconscionable. Without meat, your bodies will not grow strong and robust. A Buduga who does not eat meat is no Buduga. The traders of the steppe are rich in that which you lack, and will gladly trade meat for your produce. In gratitude for your kindness, let us make introductions on your behalf. Well, far be it from me to refuse. Wait until the Shasenkai hears about this. Our tribe, the Buduga, will gladly give you all the meat that you desire, if you give us the one we call Hien. You're asking a bit much. That's putting it lightly. That said, from what I heard, Lord Hien often speaks of his time with a mole quite fondly. But even if the way to a man's heart is through his stomach, I doubt he could go with you for all the booze in the steppe. Construction of a 10,000 stalls is proceeding apace, and talks with the traders of the Union may soon lead to a wider variety of foodstuffs. As you continue to contribute to the Shasenkai and the reconstruction effort, in what other ways might the Doman Enclave grow and change? So yeah, the Buduga, the allies of Oron here, want to recruit Hien for their clan. Alright, now I make a cut and we continue this when I have more stuff and, well, probably a new week has started. Good. Alright, another week, time to turn in some more stuff. On behalf of the Shasenkai, Desiree, I thank you for your support. I'm pleased to inform you that we have made great strides in our effort to rebuild the Enclave. Owing to your many contributions, the 10,000 stalls have seen further development. As you continue to contribute to the Kai and the reconstruction effort, in what other ways might the Doman Enclave grow and change? Donating more stuff. On behalf of the Kai, I thank you for your support. You're welcome. As you may recall, several Buduga tribesmen offered to provide introductions to Zayla traders in the reunion. Subsequent negotiations went well, and we have at last begun to receive shipments of foodstuff and other goods from the steppe. Mitsuba can tell you more, and I expect she would like very much to do so. What do you think, Desiree? We've come a long way from a pile of sticks, wouldn't you say? Care for a steamed bun? We have a selection from which we may choose, from meat-filled ones prepared in the Zayla fashion, to more traditional Doman ones packed full of vegetables, to others with a sweet bean paste filling. Or, if you'd rather have a heaping helping of rice with a bowl of soup, my man on the right can sort you out. I've got plenty of radish, just the way rich folks like it. By the kami, the smell alone is enough to feed the soul. It's all thanks to you, my friend. We couldn't have come this far without your help. Begging your pardon, but are you Mistress Mitsuba, the one in charge of the stalls? I'm here on behalf of the village of Isari. I'm Mitsuba. You've business with me then? Let's hear it. Well, we were hoping you might consider entering an agreement whereby we would supply you with local goods. Not just fish, mind. Shellfish, seaweed. If it's in the Ruby Sea, we can deliver it to your doorstep, as much as you're willing to pay for. That's quite the offer, and I have little reason to refuse, but it's quite sudden and surprising. I wasn't aware of any seasonal surplus. Oh, there's no surplus. Our catch is the same as always. Rather, we've got more, helping hands. A certain collective, you might say. It's the Confederacy, miss. They're eager to trade the bounty of the sea for that of the land. Vegetables, meat, spirits, mostly spirits, I'd wager. So that's the way of it. Even a pirate grows tired of the usual fare, especially when the usual fare is kelp or something wrapped in it. I see no reason to refuse you and your partners. After all, they were indispensable in the liberation of our homeland. Giving them a taste of youngsters, the very least we can do to repay them. The bounty of the sea, you said. I can't stop thinking of what we could serve. Broiled or blackened or served raw even, if we get it fresh enough. You got octopus, yes? It's been too long since I had octopus. I could have a barrel of Usuginu octopus delivered here today, if you like. And judging from that ravenous look on your face, I gather you would. Construction of a 10,000 stall is proceeding apace, and trades with the pirates and fishermen of the Ruby Sea should soon lead to a wider variety of foodstuff. As you continue to contribute to the Kai and the reconstruction effort, in what other ways might the Doman Enclave grow and change? And that's it again for this week. Until next time. It's me again. But just for a little information. I actually missed a short cutscene. I looked up online what it was, but it was basically just a "you're doing good, carry on," and they also added a bit of decorations to the stalls here, but that was all. Nothing major. Okay, really until next week this time. Okay, another week. Time to turn in more stuff. I cannot thank you enough, Desiree. I simply cannot. I'm pleased to announce that, at long last, our plans for the 10,000 stalls are complete. Every tenant is open for business, and food is the talk of the Enclave. You really must go and see. Mitsuba is expecting you. I've been waiting for you to arrive. It's past time you saw the 10,000 stalls in all their finished glory. Look around. Take it all in. See what our hard work has built and smell what we've cooked. He overindulged. We've had plans and diagrams, but this, I hardly recognize it. It's wonderful, Mitsuba. Never in my wildest dreams could I have pictured it better. This is your accomplishment too, Desiree. On behalf of Ashaz Kai, I cannot thank you enough for your generous contributions. Stop. I'll not hear another word of praise from you until you've at least sampled some of our humble fare. A cook couldn't trust a customer's compliments if they haven't touched the food, can she? And quite frankly, if the sights and smells of this place aren't making your mouth water, then I've already failed. Find an open table and prepare yourself, because you're not leaving here until you have had the very best we had to offer. The 10,000 stalls complete. This is quite possibly the most delicious meal I've ever had. This is what kosher feels like. Is this what a kosher feels like, I wonder? Well, had enough? If not, I can bring you another serving. Come, evil friend, I could not eat another bite. Not that I'm not tempted to try, I assure you, but I fear I might die in the attempt. Now that's what I like to hear. A customer forced to choose between a good sense and another bite. You couldn't pay me a finer compliment. And now that I've stuffed you full of enough food to cloud your judgment, you forgive me if I broach a more serious subject. I'm not sure if you noticed, but all of our cookware, our pots, pans, and stoves even, are far past their prime. Most were cheap imports from other provinces. It was easier to replace everything instead of trying to maintain goods that weren't made to last. You're not the first to bring the issue to our attention. Others have had difficulty obtaining tools to go about their work more effectively. At the moment, Ashaz Kai is considering two proposals. The first is that we concentrate our efforts on rebuilding our industry. We give to our people the means to craft that which they require, thereby addressing domestic demands first and foremost. The second is that we concentrate our efforts on producing wares for foreign consumption. We bring foreign wealth to Doman and trade for that which we lack. Both approaches have their advantages and disadvantages, to be fair, but pursuing both simultaneously isn't really feasible.